Hi guys, it is now 2:11 p.m. I am sitting down at least. I'm not sleeping at the moment, but I did just do a meditation because I have this like magnesium thing I can take if my body will not, relax. But I said, well, let's do the meditation first. And before that, I was on a phone call and I was able to help someone, and it's just so good when you hear someone else share and you from the outside can see things that they literally cannot see, and then vice versa. Because not only are you able to then help them, but you can remind your own self, if I'm in the bubble, my conscious mind's not going to be able to see outside the bubble because it's in the bubble. That's really cool because then you can, I saw how the advice I was giving, I can also take, right? So one of the things I was thinking about today was there is this urge to pack more into my life, to feel like I have a fuller life. And I'm not against having a fuller life whatsoever. But I'm reminding myself what I don't want to do is trade one stress for another stress, right? The illusion of moving forward, but it's not actually, it's just it's like taking one pot of boiling water that's overflowing and replacing with another one that's almost overflowing. It's not actually reducing anything, you know? So I just came up with danger zones, and for me, I'm not against, let's say, doing something in the evening with my daughter, but it's not going to be, unless necessary, of course, but this isn't necessary. It's not going to be, well, because we're doing an extra thing, now dinner is a disaster, right? Because now I'm just trading one stress for another stress. That doesn't actually make sense. So it's good for me to see. I actually, for now, want to keep the dinner where, I cook and, all of that. And to just book that time, block out that time. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was like, oh yeah. It's just about being discerning. And so, a danger zone for me is, which just means life is harder than it has to be, is when I have to, well, I don't have to, but in the moment I try to think critically, but my daughter's right there and she's talking, it just doesn't really work. Now, are there times I might have to do it? That's different. Remember, that's the thing. There's always times where you have to. But I'm saying I'm trying to cultivate a lifestyle so that those are the exception, not the norm, right? And so, for instance, I could technically order food out every day, and then I wouldn't have to worry about food. Obviously, I have to worry about money, but not food. But I don't want to do that, for lots of reasons. So what I'm saying is I'm reminding myself that I'm doing things the harder way because long term they're the better way. And it's only hard because I have no one helping me. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be hard if it was okay, you do delegating and support. But I'm not going to neglect, miss out on that merely because of that, if that makes sense. So, if I was working with someone and they're well, I want to get this and this and this done, I'd be what are your danger zones? What are the things, no judgment, just being honest and awareness, what are the things that make that harder than it could be? And I just think that would bring such clarity and awareness. Remember, awareness is present but might be wrapped in spiky paper. But when we're aware of the pain and what's causing the pain, we can do something about it. So awareness is always good. It just is. Um, and then we can troubleshoot for those danger zones. So for me, I already kind of do this, but I could literally make this kind of like a rule for me of like, don't try to figure something out when she's right in front of you, because it's a brain drain. That's a phrase I coined from, I think, 2 videos ago, but I like it. That's how it feels. And it's going to put your body, your nervous system, like something's in danger because you're trying to figure out something that you can't figure out because you're overstimulated. But then it's sending a message, even subconsciously, that either you're dumb or you can't figure stuff out. But that's not true. It's because it's not the right time to be doing it, right? And I think at work, there are things in place for that. But at home, there's not necessarily. And if you have other people to help you, that's a different story. But since I don't, I'm like, okay, how can I, again, set myself up for success? So my current morning routine, I think, is going to be to, like I said, have my timer set, alarm. And if I wake up way before the alarm, then I'll do a meditation because my body needs some extra rest, basically. But if I wake up with the alarm or right before it, I'm going to just do tapping, which is more soothing, but not like time to sleep type of feeling. And then after I do that and like take some breaths and like look out the window, then I'm going to do the push-ups. I'm going to give myself the option to do the push-ups and the crunches to kind of wake my body and my brain up. So that when I open that door and she's there, it's not like the shock to my system, because that's how it feels, you know? And then, like I said, I'm going to do it where, and I can also check bills before I get out of bed, just so that's done. Doesn't mean I have to pay the bill at that second, but I can, like, basically, once I know nothing's due that day, that part can calm down, you know? And then when I go downstairs, before she leaves for school, I'm going to tell myself, all you need to do is drink water for sure and just be there for her and with her, right? And that's kind of as far as I've gotten, as far as kind of a like set routine. But hey, at least I've gotten that far, and I'm realizing why other things maybe didn't work in the past. And remember, awareness is always good. And I'm basically trying to lasso my brain, lasso her brain, set us both up for success. And I'm not going to accept or succumb to mornings have to be, stressful. They don't have to be stressful. You can reduce the stress and the overwhelm. And I'm living proof of that. So anyway, I think I'm going to do another meditation now, but I wanted to share that before I forgot. And yeah, there's a lot more I want to figure out, but I'm really proud of myself for I feel like all the parts are pretty much on board with that, which is exciting. And I was actually just I was listening to something about the brain, like the parts of the brain and everything. So, but it's like I said, the big thing, the big meta, awareness is that if you're in the bubble and you don't actively do something to look outside the bubble, you won't be able to see outside the bubble, if that makes sense. It's kind of, okay, if you're underwater and you're like 10 feet underwater and you're under the water, you're not gonna be able to see what's on the surface because you're under the water, right? I don't know. But anyway, all right, love you guys.